And what a difference 48 hours makes for this Buffalo Bandits team. And we're just going to wear it on the chin, although the season is not done yet. Remember after they lost to the Vancouver Warriors, me and you were saying, it's not looking great. It's not looking great. Well, Friday morning, the Bandits woke up with a 4-6 record. Sunday morning, Tony, what was the Bandits record that they woke up with on Sunday morning?
6-6.
6-6. And how do you get to 6-6 in 2 games? Well, you get the
win
upset
both
of the century on Friday night in overtime, and you can make the argument, and we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of it, whether that game should have been in overtime or not. That's a whole different story.
Right.
You win on Friday against the best team in the league in a 2025 finals rematch. And then you face the little bros up north, up on the north side in Hamilton in the TD Coliseum, and you beat Toronto there. Not only, Tony, does that put us at 6-6, but if the season ended right now, the Bandits would be entering the quarterfinals as the 7th seed. So what a difference 48 hours makes for this team. They knew their backs were against the wall. I heard when I was rewatching the Toronto game on TSN, one of them, I think it was one of the announcers, maybe it was Pat, whatever his last name is. I always forget his last name. Pat G. I'll say that because I can't pronounce his last name to save my life. But he said that he, per sources, heard that Steve Dietrich had multiple closed-door meetings with this team. And basically leading up to this weekend, he was saying to the boys in the locker room something to the effect of, and I'm just paraphrasing here, if you guys don't go into this weekend and sweep, we are going to make some serious changes to this roster, and we're going to be sellers. Is pretty much the ins and outs of that. So what do the Bandits do? They step up, they fight to keep this core together, and they prove that they can stay alive in the postseason hunt. They go 6-6. Pearl Jam said it. The Buffalo Bandits are saying it too. I'm still alive. They are still alive and well in the playoff hunt. They needed this sweep, and Tony, guess what? They fracking got it.
Yeah, and not to quote from any movies like from the Black Panther going, I never yielded. As you can see, we are not dead. That's basically it. And I'm glad that the Bandits have finally woken up, especially, again, it's not about based on your stars have to be stars or secondary has to do it all or your defense has to wake up or your goaltending needs to be sharper. Everyone got the bell in their ear and go, it's time to wake up from that long, gifted sleep that you had and say, you guys need to wake up and go out there and win games. They did it one at a time. Sass was first. Nail biter, heart attack, stroke, whatever you want to call it, we got the win. Going into Toronto, it almost looked like it was going to be a back and forth, but then the Bandits just put the foot on the gas pedal and just drove away from them. And that's exactly what they have to keep doing. Going from strong first half, ugly second half, but still squeaking the W in the first game, but then being what we all should say about this, consistency. The word consistency. Every quarter that they played against, that they have gone against Toronto, they were very consistent, keeping that same pace, the timing being perfect about getting their goals, and they just drove away. And again, break out the brooms. We swept both teams this weekend. Awesome job, boys.
And Tony, let me just add a little fun fact to that. This is the first time the Bandits have swept a weekend series since the 2024 NLL Finals. So I thought I'd throw that out there as well. When they beat the Albany Firewolves on Friday night, game 1, they finished the job and won the championship and went back-to-back on that Saturday night. So that's the first time they've done it since a very, very, very important postseason series with your championship on the line. So that's big. Tony, what does this prove to you? It proves to me that this team is capable. Like we've said this entire freaking season, losing games to Colorado when you know you're capable of beating those guys, it gets frustrating. Losing to Philadelphia, losing to Halifax at home, losing to Ottawa at home. Why do we get so pissed on the show, Tony? It's because we know they can go out and have a weekend like this.
Yes, I agree.
Where was this in the beginning of the season? Where was this when you were playing Philadelphia, when you were playing Ottawa, when you were playing Halifax at home? Where was this attitude? Maybe, just maybe, They were playing like this because they knew their backs were against the wall. And when you have a dynasty like the Bandits have, no one wants to see that core get blown up. Nobody wants to see players get traded. Nobody wants to see the Bandits be sellers. The players don't either. They are a family in that locker room. It's a brotherhood. They don't want to see those guys leave either. So maybe their backs need to be against the wall. And this is this ultimate bend but don't break Bandit style of lacrosse. Kind of gives the fan base a little bit of a heart attack every now and then. But you know what? I really don't mind it at the end of the season if you can promise me a postseason spot.
Yeah, the way how they just turned it around those last 2 games and just dug deep. Game plan was on the line, or whatever was said in the locker room, like you said, behind closed doors. That's the kind of thing you have to like spark them up and be like, hey, who's in charge here and where's your spot going to go if you're not going to continue playing well? You're going to be out the door, going to a shit team or whatever you want to go to, and you can then cry your blues and your sorrows somewhere else while other guys are getting their opportunity and maybe have a positive feedback on making the Bandits back to the championship that they are. But it didn't work out that way. It was kind of like saying the Sabres with Kevin Adams going and Yarmo moved in, goes, guess what? It stops here. Either you want to play the sport.
Does not exist anymore.
That's right.
And, turn it around.
And they turned it around, and now the Sabres look prominent to go into the playoffs. Now, going to lacrosse, and with the last 2 games that are back to 500, and with 6 games remaining, has a possibility of going back to a postseason again to defend their 3-time championship on the line. And that's exactly what the Bandits can do. It doesn't matter if we lost Chris Cloutier or Chase Fraser. God bless them, and good luck with you guys in the Vegas.
And Kyle Matisse.
And right, yep. And all I got to say is that the core that we have still is still all here. We have the right mentality. All we have to do is just stop with the egotistics and just go out there and play as a unit. One unit, and we go in there and we win these games as a team, but most importantly, as you once stated, as a family.
Damn right. They are a brotherhood. No one wants to see that core get blown up. I mean, so many memories with these guys, and the last thing we want to do is see them get dismantled as far as a roster construction is concerned. But I think, Tony, we need to jump into the Bandits versus Rush recap. The Friday night's game, let's just jump right into this one. The one thing that I love about John Tavares this year and this Bandits offense this year is they have a very well-scripted first quarter. They usually get off right out of the gates and score a couple quick goals to start off the game. Their Achilles heel, though, is allowing teams to come back in the second half. They don't usually keep up that first half pace in the second half. And that kind of comes around to bite them. But when you want to just jump right out of the gate and you're facing against a good goalie like Frank Scigliano, I mean, your secondary guys jumped right out of the gates and scored 3 quick goals. Teho Kananakoke, Ian McKay on the power play, and Kyle Buchanan to take an early 3-0 lead against the Rush. Scigliano was shaken. He was rattled, and he really was kind of on edge. He sort of locked in there in that third quarter and the rest of the half. But, I mean, that first quarter jumping out to a 3-0 lead, and the fact that it was 10-10 going into overtime a couple hours later, it loomed large. They needed to jump out to that 3-0 lead.
Yeah, well, the way how they've been playing all year long and the consistency of the first half looks great. They look sharp. They came, full speed ahead. That's what I wanted to say. With their offensive scoring and trying to get that, let's get ahead of the game, and then hopefully we can hold them off in the second half. But again, it's been backfiring. The second half has not been their friend this year, especially with how teams are allowing themselves to come back, and we just look tired out there. It just didn't seem like we had enough gas in the tank to finish the job. But other than that, this game was a little bit different. I mean, yeah, I get the fact that in the first half they had 8-4 against their opponents, but you can't let that mentality says, oh, we're up 4 goals and we can just now coast from here. No. But here's the thing. You said before, Trevor, it's a game of runs. We don't know when it's going to be the flip of a switch. You just can't allow your opponents to walk in like that and not only come back, but possibly steal one again at your barn. You can't let that happen. But thankfully, Josh Byrne found the goal that we needed, and that was the game winner to win that game against the Rush.
Yes, and let this be known right now. I mean, of course, we have to get through the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Good news, bad news. This was Ian McKay's breakout game.
Yep.
in game 11
Good
of
job
the
on them.
season. The only downside of that is he got his ankle rolled over and missed.
Yep.
He actually finished the rest of the game, but
He
ended
did
up
come
not
back out,
playing
yes.
Saturday. If you look at some of the, I was watching warm-ups in Saturday because I went to both games, Friday and Saturday. I went up to Hamilton on Saturday.
You did, yes.
He was in a boot on Saturday. He was in a
no.
walking boot, so that's not good. But Ian McKay knew that their season was on the line. Messed up ankle and all, still went out there and finished the game. He missed a couple shifts, but he ended up coming right back out, and he still finished the game because that is the kind of player that Ian McKay is. The good news is it took, this is the game from last year that we usually see out of Ian McKay, the 4-goal nights, his breakout game. The only downside of that is he didn't get to, maybe we could have seen a 5-goal game or a sock trick game if he didn't get that leg rolled over on, but when he's in that walking boot on Saturday, thank God we have a bye week coming up this week, and cross your fingers that maybe he can come back for March 13th against the Mammoth. But damn it, that sucks to lose a player of that caliber. But it's great to see him break out, though.
Yeah, that's the MVP style of Ian McKay that we'd like to see, especially against the rematch of last year's finals. But again, Ian McKay now can more focus on his health. Use that week off to, get back his footing. And hopefully we'd like to see him back sooner than later. But maybe this might be an okay time to say, okay, Ian, let's really focus on your health. Let's get your foot back at 100% and then have your, work your way back into getting back into the main roster. But now that gives an opportunist to a lot of youngsters out there like Lucas Nielsen, Coltrane Tyson. Hopefully maybe this next game coming up against Colorado, we might get to see him. We don't know. But that's up to Johnny T and the staff. So we'll have to wait and see until maybe possibly game time to figure it out what he's going to do. But that also brought back Dylan Robinson as well, who I think after having a good game's rest or injury, whatever you want to call it, that woke him up. And that's the type of Dylan Robinson that we once knew how defensively he can play, transition-wise he can set up the offense, and just getting to the loose balls as much as Mitch DeSnew has. Again, double digits, need I say 13, 14 average per game loose balls. Good Lord, DeSnew, you're really impressing me with your defensive player of the year status, and you're doing it again this year.
I think he got 13 alone in this game against.
Yes, he did.
But kind of makes me wonder about Dylan Robinson. Was he truly injured, or was Johnny T going to send a message to his team and saying this defense is not okay, or I'm going to sit somebody and put somebody on the fence? Whatever was the case, hey, it ended up working out. He did get kind of put in the spin cycle. Whoever scored that goal on the chicken wing move, I think it was the first goal by Saskatchewan. It was Zawada from Zach Mans. He did the swim move on him, and man, that was just a good move and kind of threw Dylan Robinson into a tailspin there. But Tehoka Nanako continues to score. I mean, this guy's an absolute menace this year. Clay Scanlon got on the board. What goal possibly saved the Bandits season was the Steve Priolo goal to go up 10-7 in this game. If that goal doesn't happen, the Bandits lose in regulation. We're looking at 4-7 going into Hamilton. So your captain is looking like the captain. The one thing about Steve Priolo is, and I know that it looks like he's sort of missing a step on defense. He's getting another year older and all that other stuff. The one thing that's for sure about Captain Steve Priolo is that whenever he's on a breakaway, does not fucking miss ever.
No, he doesn't.
That guy, I don't understand. Like, he is like a Lesh Kodalik on a breakaway. That dude always finds the back of the net, and it is absurd. Like, whenever he's on a breakaway, you can just stand up and start celebrating when he's passing the restraint line. You don't even have to wait for the ball to go in because you know it's going to go in the net. But on a great pass from Mitch DeSnew, and he's by far been the best defenseman on this team this year, without a shadow of a doubt. Great little pass from him, and then at the 2-minute mark of the third, he pots one in on a B-way to go up 10-7. The downside about this game, 0 in the fourth quarter against the Saskatchewan Rush. They got lucky, Tony, in that regard. Like, if you score 0 in a quarter against the team at the time was 10-1, you're lucky. Like, if you told me they would have a quarter where they don't score at all against the Rush, I would probably tell you we probably lose by 4 or 5 goals in that game, right?
Right.
No. I mean, those last 2 goals from Vince, I mean, with a minute 45, it was 10-8.
Yep.
And then by the final buzzer of regulation, it was tied 10-10. I thought the 9th goal and the 10th goal, both of those shots, Vince had like 90% of the save. It just swooped in behind him. And this was a game where Matt Vince played out of his freaking mind, and we have to give him his stripes. For the games that we've criticized him, this game, with everyone's backs are against the wall, Matt Vince finally looked like Matt Vince again, and it came at the best time possible outside of maybe just a couple squeakers.
Yeah, 43 of 53 for the night and keeping the opponents at bay. That's the type of average that Vince has been around to help you win those games when it counts. And believe me, when we say offense needs to get 12 or 13 to be sure of the victory, if he only allows 10, that's the kind of mentality that Vince is trying to say, hey, I'll keep them at this point. You guys do the rest and make sure they get at least 2 or 3 better so we know we can secure a victory. But he does look like him. These last 2 games, he definitely looked like himself again. And that's a promising thing to see, especially now with the heart. I think with this last 6 games here, I mean, the next 5 are going to be a challenge itself.
Oh, easily. I mean, this is still this schedule is a gauntlet till the rest of the way, till game 18 of the season. So it's going to be a dogfight for sure, but it's great to see him kind of get that confidence back towards the back end of the season. And then overtime, season on the line, essentially. This is a playoff atmosphere. It kind of feels like a playoff game. Lots of controversy going into overtime. And part of it is, number one, Connor Farrell just got absolutely dominated in this game. Couldn't win a clutch face-off. He won 4 out of 24. And it might be time for the real conversation, Tony. And I know this is going to piss a lot of people off that are the big part of the Connor Farrell fan base.
Sure.
If you want to solidify that 4 seed, maybe we look outside of the organization for another Fogo guy, because I don't know, man. I mean, Connor Farrell beat up on the Toronto backups, which I don't think is a big flex to say.
No.
But when you're going up against a top-tier guy, I mean, he got dominated by Withers. He gets dominated by Nassau. When you have to face against top-tier guys, he just never shows up and goes 4 of 24. That's besides the point. The band still won the game, but just putting that out there. If you want to solidify and you really want to legitimize your shot at winning 4 championships in a row, you got to get all the possessions you can get for your offense. And I just don't think Connor Farrell's cutting it right now. But he was getting booed a little bit in our section, in section 106. I mean, every single faceoff, everyone's like, "Come on, Farrell, what are we doing?" Like, when he wins the faceoff, it's a riot. Everybody starts cheering, and he needs some milk chants and stuff like that. We hear that all the time. He's a fan favorite. He's a great dude to talk to, and he's such a rally guy too. But I'm just putting that out there. I'm not sure if anybody else in the fan base has noticed that when he has to face against some of the best in the league, he gets flat out dominated. But we'll get into him a little bit in the Toronto game, where it was a little bit of a more of a bright spot for him. But overtime was very controversial, and kind of turned to a ref show a little bit, Tony. And it sucked, because you look at back and forth overtime. Both goalies are playing on their head. Josh Byrne, by the way, this is the game where Josh Byrne's starting to look like Josh Byrne again. 8 points, game winner in overtime, 7 assists for 8 points. Josh Byrne, and we'll get into the Toronto game. Don't you worry about a thing. But he gets the overtime goal. Fantastic. The only thing I have to say about that is should have been over with Clay Scanlon. Argue with a wall. That goal, I don't give a – okay, I watched every single replay of that. Clay Scanlon leaves his toes aren't on the white line when he leaves his feet. His stick comes down when the ball touches the twine. If that was called a goal on the field, that call on the field would have stood. The only downside to that was the call on the field was no goal at the time, and they didn't have enough evidence to overturn the call.
That is right.
I'm happy for Josh Byrne. I'm super happy that he got his confidence back with that bounce shot from just inside the restraining line to win the game. But Clay Scanlon and these referees, man, I mean, I don't know if they were trying to prolong the game or whatever it was. We weren't having enough fun with that already.
Yeah, I know.
A 5-minute long review, though, I was kind of clinging to some hope here. I'm like, this review's taking a long time. They might overturn this, and the Bandits might win. But the referee was standing right there. And every replay showed I didn't see his glove come down. I didn't see his jersey touch the crease. I saw his stick come down, which is completely legal. It's not a part of his body.
Right.
I thought the game should have ended with Clay Scanlon, but hey, beggars can't be choosers.
That's
Josh
right.
Byrne, ball don't lie. He got his confidence back, and all it took was a bounce shot. And I've been telling everybody when shooting the ball in lacrosse, if you're bouncing it and the shooter doesn't know exactly where the ball is going, neither does the goalie. Why don't we try more bounce shots? But I'm happy for Clay Scanlon. He really did contribute in this game, even though I thought he was completely robbed of an overtime goal. But Josh Byrne, more importantly, maybe it was supposed to be like this. Maybe fate put it like this, where Josh Byrne had to score that goal to get his confidence going for the rest of the season. Maybe it was the universe saying, no, we can't allow Clay to score in overtime. Josh has to score to get his confidence back. But, dude, what an upset win. But that overtime, my goodness, that was back and forth, and the blood pressure went through the roof. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
7 minutes overtime.
That's crazy. But you know what? That's what makes games exciting, is especially when two teams that know each other very well go toe-to-toe with each other, and then it comes down to where you said Josh Byrne getting the game winner and, finally going, we got the win, so which is good. And again, for Josh Byrne's sake, big confidence booster, even though he only scored once. But honestly, with the way he could have had all the opportunities in that game, he could have had at least 4 or 5. Not saying that he didn't, or not saying that he couldn't, but the shots were there at the moment. And again, I hate to say this, Trevor, but he was still hesitant on a lot of his opportunities that he had.
Absolutely.
So again, it's like we did discuss saying, Byrne, stop being hesitant. If you see an opening, just take the shot. Let fate decide for you. And thankfully for the fate that we wanted to, was a game-winning goal. But did we have to be in overtime to win that game? I don't think so. I think Byrne could have, be a little less hesitant on his shots and, at least said, hey, the one shoulder move, and then, there's the opening. Take the shot. You're good.
It could have been closed out when it was 10-8, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't have to go to overtime like that.
The Snoo had the ball when it was 10-9, I want to say, and then just kind of pitched it. But the net was empty. I was just screaming for Mitch to just take a shot on goal, like throw it towards the net.
Just anything.
They had that empty net goal, and if it's 11-8 at that point, we're not even talking overtime. We're just
no, not at all.
But maybe that goal needed to happen, though, from Josh Byrne, Tony. Maybe it did, because not only did that goal show Josh Byrne that, hey, I can still score in this league, but I could also be the most clutch player on the field. I would rather have Josh Byrne score 1 goal and have it be the overtime winner rather than have him score 6 and still lose the game. So
I could
he picked the spots. He was clutch when he needed to be. I didn't think Dane Smith had the best night as far as, I don't think he scored a goal.
He did not score 1 goal against the Rush.
We didn't see a typical Dane Smith statistical night out of him, because he's usually
4 points,
a few times.
4 points, all assists.
And I mean, I think it was he did get a couple good assists on the right time. I mean, he's still a power play master.
Yes,
he got a big assist on that second goal on the power play on the Ian McKay goal. But found this out on the TSN broadcast as well. The last 3 weeks, the Bandits have been cashing in on what seems like every single special teams opportunity, every single power play. They are now the number 1 ranked power play in the NLL. So talk about big.
What does that tell you?
Last year. Because remember last year, they could get all the 5-minute majors in the world, and they still couldn't score a goal. But they could score all the shorthanded goals if they wanted to. This year, it's a little bit different. I mean, Dane Smith has 4 shorthanded goals this year, which is crazy. But the Bandits also have the best power play in the league. And what does that tell you? It tells you that special teams is pretty undervalued in this league. And part of the reason why the Bandits have climbed back into the playoffs is because they know how to cash in, they know how to kill penalties, and they know how to score power play goals and make teams pay for their bad mistakes.
66% power play percentage. That is pretty damn good for one game to do it. And they did it twice in a row. Once against Sass and now against Toronto. So what does that tell you? That we have a great power play unit, and also the fact that our special teams, like you stated, is dangerous. And again, we don't know who could score shorthanded if they wanted to. I mean, Bucky can, Dane can, Byrne can, or McKay if when he comes back, or then we send out Tehoka to do the magic too. But other than that, our special teams have been looking pretty solidified this year, and I'm loving it. We need to keep that mentality up, though, especially coming into the next 5-6 games we have left.
And not just that, Tony, but holding the Rush to 10 goals, the best team in the league, your defense, you got to give them a shout out, too. I mean,
I do.
They played very well. Mitch Desnew got bandit ruled. Did you see that? He was standing in the crease, blocking the shot, and he ended up taking a delayed game penalty there. He got bandit ruled, and you're not allowed to block shots when you're standing in the crease, but you're allowed to jump into the crease and scoop up the ball. So, still a weird rule in my mind, but I
think he was trying to get out too.
Yeah, I thought he was trying to jump out of the way.
And also to protect himself, he didn't want to get hit in the
Yeah, you might get hit in the junk. I saw that. That was right where it was going. But your defense, Matt Vince and Josh Byrne getting clutch and getting that monkey off his back again is big. And this win could change the trajectory of the season. And
absolutely,
I don't care if it took to overtime. We've said ad nauseum on this show. I don't care if you win by just one goal. Just win the games on your schedule, and that is exactly what the Bandits did. So we're not going to argue with winning, even though I still do kind of feel bad for Clay Scanlon. I thought he was highway robbed by the referees there in that overtime. Bandits and the Rock, another good game here. Back and forth in the beginning and some of the middle quarters, but the newly renovated TD Coliseum, formerly known as the First Ontario Center, thank God they're out of that super tiny minor league hockey rink in Mississauga called the Paramount Fine Food Center. They're finally playing back in Hamilton again. My first time back there since 2024. And I just want to say all the renovations they did in that building, it looks great. It looks great in there. It looks like a professional rink. And they did open up at the 200 level only on the center section. They didn't open up the ends or they didn't open up the corner. So they're slowly but surely getting there. They're starting to pack the barn a little bit, but I think 8,900 something was the
not bad.
If it wasn't for us Bandit fans, they're probably getting like 6,000 if I'm being completely honest with you. But
possibly.
It was another home game for the Bandits. I mean, Toronto, you look at this team's history and it's kind of like the Miracle on Ice. We can play them 10 times and we're probably going to win 9 against the Toronto Rock. And that trend did continue. The first time the Bandits scored over 13 goals since January 3rd, 2026 against the Las Vegas Desert Dogs. The Bandits went in and won this one against the Little Bros from up north, 14-9, and completed the weekend sweep.
Yeah, well, the way that they won this game compared to what they did against the Rush is that they were what? They were consistent. Every quarter they have played
quarters.
And they've played all 4 quarters. They didn't wait. They didn't play just one half and then slightly in the third and then just let go in the fourth. They played consistent quarters, which means you're going to win more games that way if you do the consistency of each quarter. Now, only that, faceoffs got better. Connor Farrell, like you said, he looked like himself again even though backup face-off guys, but still, it's not the point.
Yeah, no TD Erling in the lineup for the Rock.
Nope. But they had what's his name? Rowlett. So
Nicholas Rowlett.
Nicholas Rowlett. So not bad from him for winning 12 out of 27, but for Connor, it was the other way around. He won the majority of 15 to 27. Power play again, 2 for 3. So in the last 2 games, going 4 for 6. Not bad, boys. But you also gave up 66% too as well. The penalty killing didn't look too good. Obviously, we had the slight edge in the penalty minutes, 10-8, and they capitalized on 2 out of their 3 chances. So again, and back-to-back games getting outshot. What does that mean? Does that mean we got to be outshot to win these games, or what? What's going on with that deal?
It means that we're not getting enough loose balls, and but it also means that Matt Vince is making a lot of friggin' saves these last 2 games. I mean, another game where Matt Vince looked absolutely electric. Can we talk about the defense in this game too, Tony?
Sure, let's do that.
Before we get into the offensive explosion of 14 goals that we haven't seen in quite a long time. Almost 2 months we haven't seen this type of offense.
That's right.
The defense. I want to talk about CJ Kirst for the Toronto Rock, the first overall draft selection from this year's draft.
Yep.
Tony, how many goals did CJ Kirst score?
0.
0 goals from CJ Kirst, and he is going to be a superstar in this league. He's very good this year. Do you know who was primarily on him the entire length of the game, Tony? Who was
I actually do.
That was on him that was like a fly on shit?
Well, all I have to say is that he debuted himself and he made the Bandits organization look very impressive of this kid, and that is Carter Coffey. He got his first game to play,
draft pick.
And he got called, he got to play, and he looked phenomenal on defense.
Number
absolute wall. Good job by Carter Coffey coming in, filling in for Ian McKay for defensively or at the time for the injury, and Zach Belter. He looked good for his first game. Good job, Carter Coffey.
Carter Coffey, that is a confidence boost. His first game is on the road, number 1.
On the road. Now, imagine how good he could do against Colorado coming up.
Right. And number 2, you're going up. It's not like, oh, yeah, welcome to the league, Carter. We're going to put you off against one of their scrubs on offense. No, Johnny T threw him right into the flames and said, you're going to cover CJ Kirst tonight.
That's right.
Boom. I mean, Steve Priolo had a little bit of trouble covering Mark Matthews, but let's be real. Mark Matthews is a freaking superstar, even at 42, 43 years old. However old he is, he's still a damn good lacrosse player, and that left-handed shot is still very lethal on that Toronto team. Good. But, I mean, just talk about a complete defensive shutdown of those guys, especially in the second half. But what I want to also look at is the offense. Look at this quarter by quarter. 3 goals, 3 goals, 3 goals, 5 goals, totaling for 14. And that is incredible. Not only were they consistent, but they scored the most goals when they were making their final sprint towards the finish line. And that is how you do it. I'd rather you score 5 goals in the fourth than 5 goals in the first, if I'm going to be completely honest. I'd rather you sprint with your head down to the finish line than jump right out of the gates and sprint and then coast your way to the finish line. So the fact that they were able to do that, that was awesome. I also want to credit another defenseman before we get into the offense here. Mitch DeSnew, you are the best defenseman on this team, my guy. Not only do you lay big body checks, but you block a bunch of shots. He's also a goal scorer. Got the second goal of the night for the Buffalo Bandits, put them up 2-1. And since then, they did go down 3-2 later in the game, but the only time they trailed was the first quarter, and the Bandits they took full control of the game by the time the first 15 minutes were over.
Yep. I love the fact that, this team is just starting to get that championship mentality back into their veins, and they feel comfortable about no matter which guy is out there. We've said this years prior about the depth of this team, that it is so scary good that no matter who steps up into the person's shoes, they can fill the void, and it can be an amazing thing to watch. And this is exactly what bringing Mitch DeSnew back. And I thought at first in the beginning of the season, I'm like, oh my God, they brought flat foot cement, God bucket in his feet, can't move. And all of a sudden, he won Defensive Player of the Year for Toronto. And then he comes back to Buffalo, and look what he's doing for this defensive core. And I'm a believer. You just changed my mind, dude. I am a believer of you. Number 12 has relit the lamp in my bulb over my head going, wow, what a difference maker, dude. You have matured so good, and you brought that Defensive Player of the Year vibe for a reason into the defensive core of the Bandits, and we can't thank you enough for that, especially how good you are just showing us the way.
No, he is very good, and he does it all. Block shots.
Wow.
He sets up a great transition pass. The breakout passes are great, and he scores. I mean, what more can you really ask for? And you're right. He has matured a lot since the last time he's played for the Bandits in 2020.
Yes, he has.
But Tehoka Nanticoke, again, scoring the first goal of the night.
Right, streak's still alive.
And what a beautiful goal, too. Him falling down, a little spinorama move to score the first goal for the Bandits. Obviously, Mitch DeSnew. And how about the guy that was filling in for Ian McKay, who was walking around in a walking boot, Ryan Benesh, scoring 2 of his own, and 2 very, very big goals, both to take the lead. And, man, they came at the right time. That also showed me that, hey, old guy still got it. Ryan, Benny and the Jets, he still got it. What I was most impressed with, and what I was saying the entire night up until the second quarter, was this guy is due for an explosive night. Dane Smith, who looked completely lost in the first quarter, airmailing passes, taking bad shots, What does he do in the second quarter when it's 4-3 Toronto? He scores a natural hat trick. 8:16 in the second quarter, ties it at 4 from Josh Byrne. Then he scores at 5:44 from Clay Scanlon, 5-4 Bandits. Then he scores at 4:33 from Byrne and Dylan Robinson to go up 6-4. And when they took that 2-goal lead, the Rock eventually tied it in the third, but they never retook the lead. Dane Smith took full control of this game, and long overdue coming from a guy like Dane Smith.
8 total points, 3 goals, back into the scoring spree. And still getting the most out of the 5 assists that he had, especially setting up plays. But it felt like we have now got back the dynamic duo we've been waiting for, and that is getting that 7 to 8 or 9 point night between both Dane Smith and Josh Byrne. Josh Byrne, again, he also had a hat trick. He had 4 assists, 7 point night. That's the guy. That's the kind of lacrosse that we need those two to play from here on in. We know you can do it. Whatever woke you up and said, I'm going to get almost 10 points tonight. I got a good feeling about it, and you almost did. That just shows that you have not lost a step. You have got your confidence back, and from moving forward for the last 6 games of the season, it is the right time to do so. So, guys, awesome job, especially against Toronto, by putting a foot up their ass and knowing that you guys are the dangerous duo of the National Lacrosse League.
And when it really started to get out of hand, Tony, is when Josh Byrne kind of entered the goal-scoring scene too. Josh Byrne from Dane Smith and Kyle Buchanan to make it 9-7. This was right after Ryan Benesh's second goal. Kyle Buchanan also got back into the score sheet to make it 7-6 Bandits on a great pass from Dane Smith. I mean, what a pass. A little tic-tac-toe play with Tehoka and Anacoke and Dane Smith. That was awesome. But Josh Byrne scoring at 3:09 of the third quarter. The most impressive goal of the night was Elijah Gash slashes Byrne in the groin. Delayed penalties being called. Yep. Josh still has the ball. He's looking for a pass. He's looking at the shot clock. All right, we got 7 seconds here, 6 seconds, 5. Steps at the restraining line, just says, screw it. Rips a laser from the restraining line and goes top shelf. What a bullet of a shot from Josh Byrne. I stood up and I cheered that goal when I was in that arena, and I said, that is the Josh Byrne that we know. That goal right there, ripper from the restraining line, going top shelf, right over Troy Holochuk's shoulder. That is the Josh Byrne that we know and love. To take a 3-goal lead at the time, and that was what really broke the Rock. Once you got that, and I was saying that night too, I like that we're up by 2 right now, but if we can take that 3-goal lead, that should put them away, because they have no answers for Matt Vince. They have no answers for this defense. Carter Coffey is dominating. Mitch DeSnew is dominating. Dylan Robinson looks good. Mike McCannell looked great in the Toronto game too.
Couple points
in the transition game. Thomas Whitty was fantastic. I'll tell you who else was damn good too. Matt freaking Spanger. While we were singing Sweet Caroline at the TD Coliseum, we didn't even finish the chorus, and friggin' Matt Spanger comes in on a great pass from Dylan Robinson and takes an 11-8 lead. That was awesome. Full-on backward somersault celebration with Mitch DeSnew. That was a cool celebration too. And then after that one, the floodgates opened. I mean, Josh Byrne completed the hat trick on an assist from Anacoke and Buchanan. Weiss got another. Weiss got on the board from Mitch DeSnew. Talk about a great breakout pass, and looked like a 2-on-1. Nick Weiss was running with somebody up and down the floor. He just said, screw it, I'm going to let this thing rip. Went right into the back of the net, and Nick Weiss finished it off. So a multi-goal game from Nick Weiss. He scored in the empty net on a great pass from Paul Dawson with only 15 seconds remaining on the power play.
Yep.
Because talk about how stupid the Toronto coach is. How idiotic is that guy? So he didn't have another challenge because he lost one previously.
Yep.
Everything under 2 minutes is automatically reviewed too.
That is correct.
And what does this moron do when he doesn't have a challenge? And when it's under 2 minutes, he throws the challenge flag and takes a delay game penalty. What are you thinking? Thanks for the free goal, dude. Thank you. Freaking idiot. If Johnny T did that, I would have been kicking the seat in front of me saying, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
But this coach has been here forever. He's been here for a long time, and he's going to make the same mistakes against the Bandits. The three most certain things in life, Tony: death, taxes, and the Bandits beating the absolute piss out of the Toronto Rock. I can't get enough of it. I can't stand that franchise, their poverty. Whenever they go up against the Bandits, they always never fail to lose and piss all the way down their leg. They might, if we play the Toronto Rock 20 times, I would say the Rock win once or twice.
That's
if I'm being real. I don't remember the last time off the top of my head, the last time the Bandits lost to the Rock, especially on the road. I have no idea when the last time that even happened was, because how many years of
18-7 beating that we took a couple of years back?
Maybe a few years ago. I mean, how many playoff sweeps have you seen against this team? How many regular season dominance have you seen against this team? The most that the Toronto Rock have done to the Buffalo Bandits in the last 4 years, I'm going to say 4 years, is a fight with Elijah Gash and Zach Belter. That is the only win that they could celebrate and flaunt in Bandits fans. And guess what? They didn't fucking win that game either. Just putting that out there as well. So
did not.
Death, taxes, and the Bandits beating the Toronto Rock. Those are the three most certain things in life. And you want to call it a rivalry? It's not. It's the most one-sided thing I've ever seen in my life. You want to call it a Bandits rivalry? I'll give you a rivalry. How about the Mammoth? The Colorado Mammoth would be a good rivalry.
Or Rochester.
Nighthawks? Yeah, the Nighthawks would be a good. I mean, well, they beat us this year the first time in 3 seasons too. So I don't even know if that's really a rivalry either. I would go with
Vancouver,
Colorado, maybe. I don't know. Saskatchewan might be a little bit of a rivalry going on between those two. I don't know, but yeah. I predicted going into this weekend that they would lose to Sass. I really didn't have a lot of faith in the team that they would go out there and win, especially due to the fact that Ryan Benesh was a healthy scratch going into it, and I was like, what is going on here? It didn't look like the best lineup available, but Tony, they go in and they sweep the weekend. They beat the Rush 11-10 in overtime, and they beat the Rock 14-9 on the road. 6-6. We still control our own destiny here, and got the week off, so players can heal up a little bit. Going in against Colorado.
Yeah, I got to take 1 week at a time, especially use this as an advantage now that, hey, you got a week break. Don't overexcel. Get the rest that you need. Heal up as fast as possible. But you're going to go up against a good fight coming March 13th against Colorado when they're coming to KeyBank Center inside Banditland. So you got to go out there and you got to give everything you possibly can. Because I think from here on in, after the break that week, we're nonstop pictures to the possible postseason. So we got to take one game at a time and go in there and just play Bandit lacrosse. That's it.
You know what else I want to say? We should have beat the Rock like 14-5. I mean, how many free goals did the Toronto Rock have that night? So
at least 5.
Let me just paint the picture for you. Nick Weiss on the goal that made it 7-7 that the Rock scored to tie it. Let me see. It was the Mark Matthews from CJ Kirst. So Nick Weiss stick checks the guy, knocks the ball out, and CJ Kirst dives forward and embellishes a call. Nick Weiss gets called for a shove in the back. Okay. Free possession for Toronto. They score. Okay. Cam Wires, you can that's up to you if you want to debate this. Was a clean hit. Did he tackle the guy on the breakaway towards the end of the first half?
I don't know.
Whatever you think happened, it's fine. They scored on that penalty shot to make it 6-5, whatever. Going into halftime. How about in the third quarter, though, when Clay Scanlon is in the same exact scenario? He's on a 2-on-1. He gets tackled from behind, too, by a Toronto Rock penalty. He gets a crease violation. I mean, I don't know what's more impressive, Tony, the Bandits sweeping this whole weekend or the Bandits beating 2 teams on Saturday night. I mean, I really don't know. But the fact that you had government assistance, and by you, I mean Toronto, you had government assistance from the referees yet again, and you still lost by 5. This pops the question here, Tony, and let me just type this into the thing here. This is kind of a spur of the moment thing.
Sure.
It kind of pops the question with a convincing win there and an overtime win against a 10-1 team in your barn. You're getting your first home win since January 3rd.
Wow.
I have this question I got to ask you up here on the screen. Ready?
Yeah.
Are the Bandits back?
Well, I'm going to say yes. They are back because after this 2 games that are much needed wins, this kind of shows that they have hope and they have determination on their side. And I mean, I don't want to jump to conclusions saying they are technically back. I'm going to say they are back because they are finally getting out of their own heads. They're trying to like not be like, oh yeah, we've had our championship run. It was great, blah, blah, blah. Let's stop right here and we could be done with it. No, they have somehow, some way, the front office or the coaching staff or the general manager himself said, let's get everybody in a room and we need to talk about this right now. Let's get everybody on their heels because there's going to be a land fire about to happen if nobody starts to produce or nobody starts to.
If you don't sweep, pretty much is what it was.
And
if you don't sweep.
I was thinking if they didn't even win a game or both, if they went 0-2 in this weekend, there was a lot of people getting gotten. Like I felt trades after trades coming in and saying, well,
collecting draft picks.
Yep, pretty much something. And this was going to be a rebuild, but it's not going to be a rebuild. Not going to be a rebuild. Everyone needs to calm down about that. And I know I've been told, what's going to go on with the Bandits if, God forbid, all these guys leave or if we lose this weekend, it's going to be a whole different outcome. Well, that's not up to us. It's up to them. So let's get that out of the question. Number 2, where's the Buffalo fucking Bandits? We're going to go out there and play as we do, and look what happened. They proved us wrong by beating Sass, number 1, because we both picked them to lose. Yep. And on top of it, we both got the win, obviously, for picking them to go against Toronto and beating them. And that was going to be their confidence booster from that point on. We didn't expect them to win at home, and then now it's carrying over. During the last few seasons, if I may rewind the clock a bit, if you may say, is that we've had pretty rough patch games in February to March. And yet what has happened ever since we got out of that patch and we looked forward to what we were doing? We went to the playoffs.
You get hot at the end of the year.
We got hot in the end of the year, and we never lost a game since, unless it's game 2 of the final. But other than that, we've been stronger than ever. No matter what players on that roster, we have the right mentality of a unit to win these games, and go prove to them to like, hey, we can win championships just as much as you guys can. That's why we're the best in the National Lacrosse League, and I can proudly say it because we have the most titles right now. But the fact is, we still have the greatest goaltender of all time. We have a great, strong defensive core, regardless of the little baby mistakes, if you may say. But again, they prove they can still go toe-to-toe with the youngsters, and they know how to beat them mentality-wise. Offensively, little shakier than last season, but still has potential to outburst like you said. It's been since January 3rd when we scored double-digit goals that are close to 13, 14. If that's got to be the magic number to win games, so be it. Use that to win games. And believe me when I say this, folks, is that if we maintain the consistency that we played against Toronto per quarter to win 14-9, and our defense was stronger than ever, our offense got the click back that they needed, and our goaltender looked that good, I'm saying we are back.
You know who else is heating up going in towards the back end of the season? Dane Smith and Josh Byrne, your top 2 guys.
Stars are being stars.
Looks like they have found their confidence back, and it couldn't have come at a more correct time. And I don't think this bye week is going to kill any of that momentum. Nope. The bye week is supposed to favor us. I mean, Ian McKay rolls his ankle. He's in a walking boot on Saturday. It's good that they don't play this weekend. We got to have him heal up because he was starting to heat up too. And when you get Dane, Josh, and Ian McKay heating up at the same time, shades of 2025 all over again. And if you want to turn back the clock again, I know every single year is different. 2024, they started off the year 5-6 and 7-7. What did they do after they were 7-7? They won the rest of the games in the regular season and swept. They went 5-0 in the playoffs and went back-to-back. So this team is capable. Maybe this year, instead of slumping in March, they chose to slump in January. And maybe they just had an early slump, and they're going to start to get hot in March and go into April red hot, go into May red hot. But don't want to hype myself up just yet because they are still at 500. It's not a great record. It really isn't a great record, but the circumstance that you're now back in the playoffs and what we said on the preview of this weekend was in order to stay alive and to have us believe again, you need to sweep. And Tony, they went in and they swept.
Yes, they did. 2 impressive games, 2 hard-fought wins, as you may say, and team effort wins. That's what's going to help you win these games and to go into the playoffs and to reclaim what's rightfully yours, and that is the National Lacrosse League Championship. And like I said, 1 game at a time. We know what to expect from you guys. We know who you're going to be playing against in these next 6 games. 1 team at a time. And I guarantee you guys we're going to be looking stronger than ever coming up in the late push of March and early April. And Banditland's going to be loud and proud no matter what happens.
Yep, you got the bye week going into this week, so you can celebrate the weekend for a couple days. But you know, probably during the middle of the week, it's okay. How do we beat Colorado? The last time we played them, we lost 20-9. How are we going to handle those guys? Well, a big vote of confidence and a big confidence boost should be took down Saskatchewan, went to overtime. It's debatable whether or not it should have been in overtime. I think they really could have closed that game out in regulation. But hey, I think beating the Saskatchewan Rush showed the Bandits that we can hang with any team in this league on any given night. And the Philadelphia game pushed that behind us. The Ottawa game pushed that behind us. The Halifax home game shoved that in the rearview mirror as far as you could stick it because we're looking forward now. You can't dwindle on the past. You can't adjust the past. What's in the past is already in the past. So
that's
what
right.
What you can control are the next games on your schedule. So take it a game at a time because 6-6, if you told me in the beginning of the year, Tony, that they would be 6-6 at one point in the season, I wouldn't be thrilled at all. So 500 past the halfway point of the season, it really isn't a good record. But when you look at the circumstances the Bandits were in Friday morning, they woke up out of their beds at 4-6, and that's terrible. Sunday morning they wake up and they're 6-6. Talk about a night and day difference, though.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a I think I did my job type trick, you know, and especially with how we're going to be winning these games now, and we only could do is look forward from here. We can't, like you said, we can't look back and go, well, we should, could have, would have, but oh well. It's done, over with, can't change nothing. That's basically what we can say.
And with that, Banditland Boulevard, player of the weekend. So both games, let's choose a player of the weekend. I want to go 1 offensively, 1 defensively with an honorable mention.
I can say that too.
I don't even know if offense is even going to be a thing, really, because you got a couple of different flavors from a couple of different guys in both games. It was a little bit different as far as the offensive looks. Screw it. I'm not even going to go offense, Tony. My Banditland Boulevard player of the weekend, the tendy between the pipes, the greatest of all time, number 48, Matt Vince. If he doesn't play on his A game in both of those games, we get swept or we at least drop 1, and this season is toast. Matt Vince single-handedly kept this team alive, especially in that overtime in game 1.
And I was going to lean that way too, but since you've done and made that pick and choice, I'm going to go and lean with somebody that also helps Matt Vince with that fact, and that is Mitch DeSnew, especially with the loose balls, especially the defensive side, and just getting it out and getting into your transition to your offense. That man has changed so dramatically. It is unheard of why he is the reason to be the defensive player of the year from last season, and he could have back-to-back years of being that as well. But you know what? Sure. For sure, he could score. And like I said, there's another defenseman that can score goals, produce points, and on top of it, have Vince's back. And Mitch DeSnew, you're my Banditland Boulevard player of the weekend.
I'm going to go with Matt Vince, but if we're going to throw out some honorable mentions, I got to throw out Josh Byrne. I mean, getting his confidence back, the overtime goal, and then the hat trick in game 2, that was big. Carter Coffey is an honorable mention on the defensive side of the ball, too. That game, too, shutting down the number 1 overall draft choice, CJ Kirsch, to no goals and just 2 assists, and is making his debut as a rookie and starting, kind of kickstarting the youth movement here. That was big. That was huge. And Carter Coffey, you have impressed a lot of Bandit fans here, my friend.
Yeah. And also for one more honorable mention, I'm going to lean towards Tehoka Nanticoke, and especially how every game so far this season, he has contributed a goal and helped this offense get that click. And, that's something that for signing him to 3 years is going to make that confidence boost go up. If you give him the chance to score goals or give him the chance to create madness, he will do so. And that is another guy that has earned the stripes for us too as well this year.
12-game goal streak for number one.
Wow.
That's just unheard of. It is absolutely absurd. But the Bandits are 6-6. They are in the playoffs. If the season ended right now, they'd be the 7th seed going into round one of the postseason. The Bandits still control their own destiny. We said that they needed to sweep, and they absolutely swept. It is on to bigger and better things. Me as a fan, I've already shifted my focus onto the Colorado Mammoth. I mean, I'm super excited. I went to both games. I went to Friday at home. I went to Saturday on the road. Going 2-0 on the weekend is huge, and especially being a Bandits fan in attendance to both of those games, it's always great to see back-to-back wins. But you got to keep up this pace, and I think those 2 wins can kickstart something really, really special here, especially when your top 2 dogs are really starting to heat up here. But with that said, massive weekend for the Bandits. We are going on to Game 13. We'll have that preview sometime for you next week as they are on the bye this week. But, Tony, time to shout out the sponsors.
Banditland Boulevard is brought to you in part by Mitchell's Tavern, located at 734 Sheridan Drive up in Tonawanda, New York. First and foremost, before I continue, I'd like to thank those who came to the Bandits watch party for that Saturday game against Toronto. So thank you guys all again for checking it out and telling you guys, look, Banditland Boulevard, Trevor Hauer over there, myself, Tony LaMonica, are telling you to go check out Mitchell's Tavern. They have great food. Their service is phenomenal. They will treat you like family. Also, we'd like to thank Herney's Journeys. If you guys want to book your next big trip or your next vacation spot, give Suzanne Pike a call at Suzanne Pike at Herney'sJourneys.com. Let her book your next big adventure. And also, finally, we'd like to thank Nino's Pizzeria, located at 2 locations at 1737 Orchard Park Road in West Seneca and also at 315 Buffalo Street in Hamburg. You guys want to order your best pizza, wings, subs, you name it, as you like it, only in America. And for those watching us here live on YouTube through StreamYard, as it's right up there in the top corner, give us that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell every time we talk about Buffalo Bandits lacrosse. But if you only like to listen in on us on every device known to man, on your tablet, your phone, or your radio station, live through Spotify, hit that 5-star comment for us that we can only talk about good things, but also if we play bad, we can also talk realistically about your Buffalo Bandits.
You want to know what is real? The 6-6 record. Friday, 4-6. Sunday, 6-6. Storybook. And you know how many of those GIFs I saw on Twitter of the Undertaker sitting up out of the casket? Dude, that's kind of how it feels like this season's kind of shifting. The dead has risen. And looks like the Buffalo Bandits are, I don't want to call them all the way back, 6-6. They still got to work on that. But, man, if they can string a 4, 5, 6 game win streak going here, Tony, it is no holds barred for the rest of the league. And they could go into the postseason, the hottest team going in. It's going to be tough to stop them. But I'd rather have you start heating up now in March than have you heat up and peak in February and start to dip a little bit. So, it's good at what we're doing, but just got to keep the foot on the gas. And I think that this team, despite the age, the average age and the average demographic of these guys, it's not the youngest team in the world, but this is very experienced, and this whole core, this is a championship core. They've been a part of so many playoff games, experienced in some, I think in some capacity, that experience will really help them in the long run with this team. Now, if this was a young team, they might be a little naive to the thing, and they might not make the playoffs. They might make it, but they might get bounced in the first round. This Bandits team knows what it feels like to lose championships. They know what it feels like to win. They never want to feel that loss thing again. So what they need to do is they just got to buckle down, push for the postseason, do all that you can to do to get there, and just do your job.
That's it. Just don't suck.
Just don't suck, as Tehoka Nanticoke said. And that's 3 words, right, Tony? Just don't suck is 3 words. But to sign off every single show with Trevor Hauer and Tony LaMonica and Banditland Boulevard, we end the show on 3 different words. Similar meaning, but it's more of a positive light. And Tony, what are those 3 words?
As Chris Swenson always says in Banditland, what do we say? In 3, 2, 1. Let's go, Bandits. Let's go, boys. One game at a time. Take it home.
Let's
get back into the championship round.
The March to May.
March Madness is starting right now.
Right now.